Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm your host, Sanai, alongside Kevin Lynch, here to give you the latest local, state, and national headlines. Coming up in this episode, we have updates on the death penalty in PA, former President Jimmy Carter, and another devastating earthquake in Turkey. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
Jeanette Arnold, a devoted runner from Mount Joy, has completed her 51st marathon. She developed her love for running at a young age on her family's farm from exercising with her siblings. She mentioned, quote, "They all got bicycles before I did. I would run along beside them and try to keep up. When I got to high school, I realized my talents lied there. I enjoyed doing that kind of thing," end quote. She started her journey in Baltimore and then was able to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Though everything changed in November of 2021 when her and her daughter were victims of a hit and run where she had fractured her spine. By next June, she was already back completing a full marathon. She does not have her next race planned, but would like to continue her active lifestyle.
A new location for Prince Street Cafe opened in Columbia, PA earlier this month. This is the third location for the popular downtown spot, in addition to locations in York and downtown Lancaster. The new cafe, which is currently located on 301 Locust Street, will replace the former Cafe 301, which closed on December 4th of last year. Prince Street Cafe is known for having a wide variety of breakfast and lunch items on their menu, including breakfast burritos, sandwiches, and salads. Co-owner Kyle Solenberger said, quote, "We are thrilled to have an opportunity to bring this concept to a location and provide great food in a beautiful central location," end quote. The new location in downtown Columbia is currently open from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. 7 days a week.
When we get back, we'll have updates on Penn State's Thon event and Governor Shapiro's death penalty statement. Ville News will be right back. Penn State's annual Thon has broken its fundraising record for the second year in a row. Members of the executive committee unveiled the grand total of $15,006,132.46. The total preceded a 46-hour dance marathon held at the Bryce Jordan Center on Penn State's main campus. Participants are not permitted to sit or sleep for the duration of the event. This year's fundraiser broke last year's record by just over $1,200,000. The money goes towards the Four Diamonds Fund, which aids families and patients who have been impacted by childhood cancer. Over the years, Thon has assisted over 4,800 families and raised over $204 million in fundraising.
Governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, has announced that he will refuse to issue execution warrants during his term, and has also called on the General Assembly to work towards the abolishment of the death penalty for good in the Commonwealth. Announcing his decision to criminal justice advocates and community leaders in West Philadelphia, Shapiro stated he had, quote, "painstakingly considered every aspect of Pennsylvania's capital sentencing system, reflected on my own conscience, and weighed the tremendous responsibilities I have as governor," end quote. Only 3 executions have been carried out in the state since the death penalty has been reestablished in 1978. And Shapiro appears poised to continue a long-standing tradition of governors halting the practice during their terms. Reactions to the announcement have been mixed, with supporters hailing the move as a victory for criminal justice reform, while critics argue the moral ramification of the convicted's crimes justify death in some instances.
When we get back, new developments on the earthquakes in Turkey. Ville News will be right back. Another deadly earthquake has hit Turkey following the earthquake 2 weeks ago that killed tens of thousands of people. This 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck in the Hatay province, which suffered the worst damages following the first earthquake earlier this month. 5.8 magnitude aftershocks followed and were felt by citizens in nearby countries. Authorities report that 6 people have died and 294 are injured, including 18 who are already in critical condition. Following the earthquake, officials put out over 100 arrest warrants for the poor construction of buildings that were destroyed by the impact. Orhan Tatar, the director of the Disaster and Emergency Agency in Turkey, has warned survivors to look out for falling debris. Following this earthquake, the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has announced $100 million in humanitarian aid be sent to Turkey to assist with recovery.
Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter entered hospice care last weekend, according to a Saturday announcement from the Carter Center regarding the 39th president's health. The 98-year-old Georgia native served as president for one term from 1977 to 1981, where he pioneered technology and conservation and established the U.S. Departments of Energy and Education. Since his presidency, Carter has dedicated much of his life to the Carter Center, a nonprofit organization co-founded by him and his wife to promote human rights and public health around the world. He was also known for his time as a peanut farmer and for being active in his local church, where he taught Sunday school. Carter was treated for cancer in 2015, but otherwise led a healthy and active life. In the statement from the Carter Center, the former president requested privacy to spend time with his family during his last days.
On Monday, President Joseph Biden paid an unexpected and historic visit to a war-torn Ukraine, expressing support and solidarity with the democratic nation fighting for survival after Russia invaded over a year ago. It is the first occasion in modern history that a U.S. president has entered a conflict zone where the U.S. military is not present. Ukrainian police and military troops were heavily deployed, and much of Kyiv's major business district was shut down, disrupting traffic nearby. Biden's visit to Ukraine sends a clear message that the United States supports Zelensky, despite mounting domestic pressure to reduce U.S. funding.
That's all we have for this week for Ville News. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week for the latest local, state, and national headlines.